All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. Glad to be with you this morning and every morning. Excuse me, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on our YouTube channel. Had to grab some water. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. That starts with you clicking that subscribe button. Thank you so much for the support. What you have in front of you here is the Nasdaq futures chart. So that's just the main thing here to your right. I know there's a lot of lines. I'm going to explain it here in a second, but let's go around the horn first. Dow futures are down 58 points, down 0.15%. Nasdaq's down 0.58%. A lot of that is Tesla being down on some headlines this morning. We posted it all on the blog. If you guys are interested in reading those headlines, make sure to read the scroll below on the screen here. Get access to our free live market blog. That'll always be free. Make sure to choose free plan, and you'll get all the information that we get and give to our clients as well. S&P 500 futures are down 0.37%. The Russell, after being up yesterday, not performing, is underperforming, down 0.93% at 2057. A very choppy day yesterday. Very dry in terms of volume out there. Rates were down. Rates are up again, 4.488%. The big thing is the dollar. The dollar is pulling back slightly, but 105.54. I think it was at 105.63 earlier this morning. That's where we started getting a pullback. We need that dollar below 105, guys. Very, very important. 1346 on the VIX. That's up 1.74%. Let's see here. Crude oil is down 0.88%, 77.69. Gasoline futures are down 1.12%, $2.51. Gold and silver are flat. Copper's down 1.45%. So that hurts my Freeport McMoran trade. Dollar yen up again, 155.56. Euro dollar is flat, 107.50. Dollar Canadian dollar up 24 pips. Pound dollar is down 27 pips. Bitcoin is down 1.33% on the future side, 62,525. 3,000 on Ethereum at the moment, down 1.71%. All right, good morning, all. 18,709, that is our all time high on NASDAQ. Beautiful trend line down. Got an upward flag here. And then what happens? You're getting the rejection right now. So, what we need to get, if we are being bullish, which of course we are, we need to recapture 18,268. So I did send out a note to our members on options this morning about some possible opportunities out there on the short side. And the reason I say that is for the fact that you could see here how we are rejecting this trend line rather cleanly. The only thing that gives me a little bit of a okay, take a pause for a second is the fact that the RSI isn't exactly oversold or overbought either. This could be the start of just another pullback in a choppy zone, which we really haven't done much. We're back at the same place we were in February 12th, guys. It's almost 3 months later. We're in the same spot for NASDAQ. All of this has just been chopped, but we're taking advantage of where we can. So, seeing that if we do get a little more weakness here, and we could, we're looking at 17,901. So I would say a break of 18,000, then we can target down to that 20-day moving average, kind of complete this rejection and get back to support up here on this channel. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of NASDAQ. That would probably be very, very short term for anyone who's trying to trade Qs. But let's wait till the market opens because the dollar is the most important thing here. Dollar on the daily is not overbought or anything like that on the RSI. And you could see here the 20-day moving average at 105.68. So technically speaking, momentum side, this is still downward. So we'll see if this gets pierced or broken above, 105.76 being the number. Again, this is right here what's going to cause stocks to fall a little more. And the Nasdaq is showing that rejection, at least for the short term, week or two. You can see that rejection coming. Now, if you look at the S&P looks so much better. It is a breakout very cleanly out of that channel, and we're still above the 50-day. So maybe the S&P can give us the hint beforehand that if the S&P does break below 51.78, 51.75 or so on the future side, then we can short the Nasdaq, since that would be, the tail that wags the dog, like I've said before. Let me remove this open interest stuff. We don't need this. Tesla's pulling back this morning on some headlines. Let me go ahead and read the headlines for you guys. Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. It is on the market blog on Discord. Where is that Tesla headline? All right. Tesla reportedly, as a part of Tesla Autopilot probe, U.S. prosecutors examine if Tesla committed securities or wire fraud by misleading investors and consumers about its EV self-driving capabilities. That's from the press from Tesla. Wow. Yeah, not ideal. Again, down this morning, $6. We still have that gap to fill at 172.09. Looks like we are going to fill that this morning, and we are right below it. You have a 1 hour gap at 169.19. That's probably the lows that you're going to get to. If we're looking at possibly buying the stock, I think that's probably what everyone is really thinking. Like, oh, when do we buy the stock? Remember, we did already, and we hit our target for the most part right at 200. So again, if we're looking to reload, let's just say, maybe we get down to around 163 or so. And again, guys, it's still within this channel. Nothing really has changed, just very volatile. So as of right now, let's see if this morning we get that gap fill at 172.09. We'll keep an eye on the call volume out there because we're still above the 20-day. But if things get really out of hand, 147 is a possibility. So if you are someone that looking to buy Tesla at this moment in terms of the stock, I'd wait a little bit and see if we get a little more direction, if it's meaning a bounce short term or at least additional weakness as we may be trekking down to 143. I don't think so. I think that we're just going to fill worst case the earnings gap up that we had on Tuesday, which really makes a lot of sense. All right, I know that's a lot. Here's the question. Oh, here we go. Should we buy Tesla? There we go. There was your question. I would say I would wait. Yes. Well, I'm glad I want to answer the questions right away. Shopify. Yeah, this is why you wait for earnings. Yeah, I was expecting this to go higher, but I didn't buy calls or anything. It was very ugly out there yesterday in terms of volume. Didn't really anything to scream out there. So we got that gap filled here, 62.25. That's the first one. Then you have the second one here at 48.74. More than likely, this is probably it. And I would just wait and see if we can get above 65. To be quite honest, I'd rather buy calls then, kind of do the counter trade, unless we start breaking below 60. So if we get above 64.86, and you can probably look at this yellow line of support, very, very similar to that kind of top end resistance that we had last summer. So if we can kind of bounce off there, even with this gap fill and come back here, that's a really good sign. And I would want to see if we can fill the upside gap that we're about to create now with earnings. ARM or ARM did not fill its gap at 77.59. It is above the 20-day moving average. The problem is that Intel, I think ARM is a chip company, but Intel just reported some light guidance ahead of their earnings. I think they were reported already, but I don't know what Intel was coming out with. And that's beating down the stock and semiconductors as well. Intel drops 2.5% after tempering Q2 revenue outlook. So it could be that issue where semiconductors are just kind of roll with it. Let's see Nvidia this morning. Nvidia is down about $10 on the hourly. Nothing has really changed. Rather flat. I still expect that Nvidia does go higher, but those Intel headlines again. These are all the semiconductors that kind of are in the same sector, so there might be a little bit of sympathy there. Let's just say. Thoughts on BABA and Apple. All right, let's look at Apple. Apple, I have an alert at 187.04. That's what I'm looking for a break above it. Might take a little bit to get there. We still have a downside gap here that we got from earnings at 173.45. But like I said before, I fully believe that Apple's going to get back to 196.81 or around the 199 area. It's the same exact setup that we've talked about before. The downward breakout, downward breakout. Now, we can always reject there. That's a different story, but let's get there first. Very similar to XLE. Can we take a look at Amazon? Yeah. Amazon hit all-time highs yesterday. So what are we looking to do? Yep, there you go. Unless you want to call it a double top or a triple top, I don't think there's anything to do here unless you start literally breaking above 195 or so. You got to clear the all-time high. So I mean, if you own it, great, you're happy, but if you're trying to trade it, not much edge here. ARM reports today. Yeah, then I really wouldn't want to touch that thing. Microsoft. Bouncing off the 20 weekly. We're on the daily. We're rejecting the 50. That's down this morning. Yeah, you got to get above 420 if you want to target 430. And 385 is your support. Really nothing to do here. Just like yesterday with the bad volume, it just doesn't seem a lot of edge out there. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So one stock you would buy and hold for the next 5 years, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. There's a lot of caveat there. Like, are we trying to aggressively grow? Or are we trying to just maintain, trying to be safe? Many ways to skin a cat there. It's a company that I'm most confident in the future, Microsoft. Absolutely. Microsoft being number one. ChatGPT, AI, they got it all. Obviously, I love Apple, but I mean, Apple, let's take a look at their numbers. The iPhone shipments and all that. I mean, they have tons of cash, don't get me wrong, but innovation, they're a little behind Microsoft. Let's be real. But I love Apple, obviously. All right. And I think, I had one more on BABA. Yeah, BABA was on our watch list this week, but nothing has broken. Yeah, rejecting 82.22. Is that dollar being higher? Yep, it's still right at that 200 day. I mean, you got to give me a little more. Let's fill this gap first before we even discuss Alibaba. 94.12 would be the next target. And that's where we are for the day. Let's see if we get anything this morning. Yesterday was very quiet, almost a waste of a day, to be quite honest. Hoping for a little action, upside or downside. So we'll see what we get. Have a great rest of your morning, team. I will catch you guys on the Discord server. Cheers all.